One of the greatest issues as a parent these days is making sure our kids are active enough. They love to play video games, they love to watch movies and shows on TV, but how do we get them outside and how do we get them playing? One of the ways technology is attempting to help us do that is through fitness wearables, like a Fitbit. But do fitness wearables work? And do our kids really need them? Fitness trackers like a Fitbit or Garmin or even Apple Watch serve as ways to monitor your heart rate, monitor your sleep, to keep track of how many steps you're taking and how active you are. Even some of them can alert if there's some sort of emergency like a fall. But when it comes to our kiddos, are these a great way to keep them more active? First of all, we have to ask the question, do fitness wearables even work? Well, there have been multiple studies about these things and whether or not they're effective in causing people to be more active. One of the things that we see in these studies is that while people are more active immediately after getting a Fitbit or Garmin, that tends to taper off after time. In fact, they were giving participants in one study $3 for every 1,000 steps they took in a day. And so they'd get their 10,000 steps and make their $30. But when they cut off the incentive program and stopped paying them for their steps, people stopped taking as many steps per day. In fact, they said that only 10% of the people who signed up were using their wearable effectively at the end of the study. Basically, all the studies that have been done come together to say if you're committed to fitness without a smartwatch, you're going to be committed to fitness with one, and vice versa. So what about our kids? If we want to get our kids a Fitbit or Garmin or even an Apple Watch for some reason, is it safe? Is it a good idea? And what about internet safety? Well, there's three things I want to highlight for you to think about before you make a decision on whether or not to buy your kids a fitness wearable. The first thing is data security. Data is the new currency. This is how companies make money. This is why you can buy a cheap $30 smartwatch for your kids. It's because they don't follow the data rules and they're going to collect all that information, and that's where they're going to make their money. So, great, you're not buying an off-brand, but you're paying $100 for a Fitbit or $90 for a Garmin kids wearable. Well, they also collect your data, and they have special permissions that they have to get for kids' data. And when they get that permission, it's by you creating an account for your kid. But even then, they have loopholes and ways around how they use that data. So my advice, before you buy something like this, go check out the privacy policies and especially how they handle the data of the kids who use their products. A lot of times, all that's required for them to use the data, just like they would an adult, is for a parent to be the one that signs them up for an account. Secondly, most of these devices sync with the smartphone. That means putting your kids' information into this app, not just straight from the device to the company, but from the app to the company. It also means that our kids that we've been holding off on getting them a smartphone now have more ammo to say, see, I need an iPhone or I need an Android. This is something we don't need as parents, right? We don't need more reasons for our kids to think they need a smartphone. Well, maybe they already have a phone or something at home that they can put an app on to monitor. That's great. Just make sure you're giving them the amount of time they need to sync it up so they can use it properly. And also make sure you have the data permissions set to the privacy you would like for your kids to have while using that product and that software. Finally, location sharing. It's not legal for these companies to collect location data from children. However, they can collect IP addresses. And most of the time, location is tied into those IPs. There again are ways for you to set the permissions available for these companies when they download the data from your kids syncing up their device to their smartphone. You just have to go into the settings and set the privacy requirements you desire for your kids. Also, don't allow your kids to use a smart device that's attached to an adult's account. This is guaranteeing that their data will be treated like an adult's data. Their location will be tracked, their activity will be tracked, their habits will be tracked and even distributed or sold to other companies for use in advertising and things like that. So my advice is to just be fit with or without a Fitbit. And let me be honest with you. I love pizza and I run 6 miles every 2 weeks, albeit begrudgingly. And so I'm not saying be like me, be fit. Let me show you my muscles. My point is this. We can be fit with or without a Fitbit. Your kids can be fit with or without it. My advice, take them to the playground. Get out there and run around with them. Kick a soccer ball, hit a baseball, shoot some hoops. together. I think Apple Watches, Fitbits, and Garmins and smartwatches are very cool, and they're something I want. But I also think we need to set the data restrictions properly, because the trade-off and benefits to our health just aren't good enough to give away all this information without even thinking about it. Thank you for watching. I'm Michael Prince with becausefamily.org and familytechblog.com. If you would like to support Because Family and familytechblog.com, you can visit becausefamily.org/partnership to just donate directly to our ministry. You could also visit us at patreon.com/becausefamily to produce one of the episodes of our show and sign up to give monthly. Thank you for watching again, and thank you for helping Because Family protect children and teenagers by helping us bridge the technology gap between them and their parents.